Hi, it's Dwyer, gamblersadvisory.com, dwyerfootball.blogspot.com. Here with some thoughts on a recent article I read that I think deserves a look. A writer and talent scout named Bucky Brooks recently went to and wrote about a workout by wide receiver Terrell Owens. Now, you remember Terrell Owens. He's had a Hall of Fame career in San Francisco. He set the record for most catches in a football game. He then goes to Philly. He plays for 1 year. That's the year Philly makes the Super Bowl. He has one of the most dominant seasons any wide receiver has had in Eagle history. Then he goes to the Dallas Cowboys, and with the Cowboys, he has multiple 1,000-yard seasons. Right now, last year, and let's keep our eye on the ball. Last year with Cincinnati, he had more than 900 yards receiving and 9 touchdowns. Right? Numbers that most in fantasy football would love to get from a wide receiver. Right? Now, T.O. tore his ACL. So he's missed most of this season. He's trying to come back. He then had a workout to show NFL teams that he had rehabilitated his knee and that he was ready to resume playing. So we get the Bucky Brooks piece. Brooks apparently attended the workout. Now, Bucky says in the opening paragraphs of his piece that T.O.'s career, in his opinion, is over. Right? He also questions T.O.'s character. What makes the piece remarkable, though, is that after you get by that headline-grabbing intro, which is all over the internet right now, you actually get to read about the actual workout. And in the piece, Bucky Brooks concedes that T.O. showed no ill effects of the knee surgery, was in outstanding shape, ran precise short routes, and made great catches during the workout. Right? Now, as an African American and Jamaican raised on Bob Marley in the 1970s, I know that African Americans are judged by a different standard in the corporate world, in sports, in life. But even by those unbalanced standards, this article is ridiculous. I encourage everyone to read it. It is so biased. It is so uneven. It is so unfair that it is comical. If you don't believe that the African American athlete is judged by a different standard, let me just submit to you this piece as Exhibit A. Now keep in mind, Bucky Brooks is an African American, but a white wide receiver coming off of a 9-touchdown, 900-yard season would never have had this article written about them. What I'd like to know is, who's behind Bucky Brooks? In my opinion, he's obviously a mouthpiece for someone or some culture that believes in double standards. He knows what to write to get ahead, to get promoted in that world. But why masquerade as a football talent evaluator? Why try to convince us that a wide receiver who just got 900 yards and 9 touchdowns is finished? By the way, in the piece, Bucky Brooks literally writes that it is over for T.O.? And why question his character? What laws has T.O. broken? When has T.O. ever given less than 100% on a football field? When is the last time that T.O. has been out of shape? Ever? So Bucky Brooks, congratulations on the hit piece. But do us a favor and stop pretending that you're writing about football. As you cash your next paycheck, thank the people who are paying you for the job you have. Because obviously that job is not about evaluating wide receivers and giving us an honest assessment on T.O.'s talent as one. Let me also point out, too, that unfortunately, and I'm singling out Bucky Brooks, but unfortunately this is widespread in the talent evaluation for the NFL. There was a quarterback last year out of the University of Arkansas, Ryan Mallett. This guy's the real deal. They know he's the real deal in New England where he got drafted, right? Had a spectacular preseason. I'm sure Razorback fans watching this video know that he was the team captain. He has one of those arms that only comes around once every few years. The guy throws strikes. He's a tall quarterback. He gets it done. But yet, you actually had, I'm not even going to say this stooge's name, you actually had some stooge out there on ESPN, and he's not the older guy who I respect. He had some stooge on ESPN literally doing an assessment of Ryan Mallett, and instead of talking about Ryan Mallett's ability to deliver the football accurately and to do the things that quarterbacks have to do on the field, all we heard about was some socioeconomic analysis where the guy talked about, does he really want to play football and other garbage like that. You know what? Let me just say this. I think the New England Patriots and Bill Belichick know football players, and Bill Belichick leapt at the chance to get this guy in the third round, right? It's a joke that the guy slipped out of the first round. We also heard character assassination on Cam Newton, right? And you always hear these talent evaluators making these veiled comments. In fact, in Bucky Brooks's case, it's not even veiled, questioning a guy's character when the guy is literally a Hall of Famer who is always ready to play and who always wants to help his team. And so I really hope, maybe there's some corporate sponsors in the background. I hope people see the bias. Because when some of these jokers talk about football players, or at least pretend to be talking about football players, what they really do is talking about corporate images and a athlete's ability to fit into some 1950s era corporate image to sell toasters and muffins. They're not talking about football because, quite frankly, if you're talking about football, then 900 yards and 9 touchdowns matter. If you're talking about football, then what Cam Newton did at the University of Auburn matters. If you're talking about football, then what Ryan Mallett did at the University of Arkansas matters. So when I see some young guy, he looks well scrubbed, he's smiling for the camera, he knows when to laugh, he's saying, hey guys, blah, 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 and he's giving an opinion, listen carefully when the guy starts telling you that some Hall of Famer who just scored 9 touchdowns last year and is recovering from a knee injury and is already in playing shape is finished, right? I mean, hopefully what's finished is anyone taking this Bucky Brooks character seriously. Bucky, let's just hope that you never evaluate talent for my favorite teams because I want those teams to win. I don't want your opinion on whether guys have character, especially when the guy you're talking about is an obvious Hall of Famer, right? Um, Maybe you injured T.O.'s career. Let's hope not, because he obviously means more to the game than you do. Let me know what you think. Visit us at gamblersadvisory.com, dwyerfootball.blogspot.com. Leave your comments for me here. I understand that T.O. is a bit of a controversial figure, but let's hope people think twice before they start saying that the guy has character problems and that the guy's finished. Certainly, you're going to be watching many football games this Sunday that have wide receivers who are not going to do this year what T.O. did in his most recent season last year. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching.